Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome to a video that I've been wanting to put out for so long. Seeing as how I'm almost at 100 subscribers, I felt like it was appropriate to do this video to essentially thank you guys all for subscribing, to thank anybody who's watching my videos or commenting or anything like that. And this video is going to be basically about how to get a good KD, which is an extremely broad general topic. This video is going to be a little bit longer than my usual video because I'm going to be trying to go as in-depth as possible as I can on essentially all of the aspects that revolve around getting a good KD, because there's not only one thing that you have to do to get a good KD, it's a lot of things that kind of mesh together, and overall they help you to get better stats pretty much. So I'm going to go into the specifics a little bit later into the video, but first I wanted to kind of just tell you guys what are the basic, most easy things that you can kind of just do, like, you know, overnight or essentially to better your gameplay. And these are things that you don't necessarily need to practice. They're just things that you can essentially either buy or do in-game to make you better very quickly. So the first and foremost thing is just your equipment. To play Call of Duty at a high level, possibly even a competitive level, you need to have all of the competitive equipment. That means you need to have either a scuff, or you need to play claw, or if you don't play either of those, then good luck, because especially in Black Ops 3, jump shotting is absolutely crucial. There's no way you're gonna have a better than average KD if you don't jump shot in this game, so get a scuff. Second of all is monitor. You definitely need a monitor. Preferably a monitor with a 1 millisecond or less response time. Well, I don't know if there's anything less than 1 millisecond response time, but you need to get a gaming monitor. Personally, I have a monitor that I got on Amazon for $150. It has a 1 millisecond response time. It has a feature that minimizes the ghosting, which is like essentially the fading in the movement on the screen from whatever you're watching on the screen. It doesn't really affect the gameplay too much, but does help with the visuals of the gameplay, so that's a feature you can look out for. But essentially you want to get a 24-inch monitor with less than 1 millisecond response time, which is pretty much the standard for competitive gaming, and you should be set with those two things. So I would say those two things are the most important aspects of your setup. If you want to get a little bit more into it, a headset definitely helps as well. A headset that costs around $100 is going to be what you're looking at. But I personally, well, I don't even use a, expensive headset. I use a PlayStation Gold stereo headset. I don't know, I bought it at Best Buy, but it works pretty well. You can adjust the game volume and the chat volume. You can do bass boost, although I don't use that. But the point is that you just want to be able to sound whore, because footsteps and sound whoring are a huge component to this game, and if you don't do that, you're really at a disadvantage, not only from finding other people to sound whore, but from being sound whored yourself, because a lot of really good people that play this game, they do use dead silence and awareness, and those are really, really good perks in this game. So you want a good headset, you want to be able to sound whore yourself, and you want to be protected from being sound whored against. And also, regarding the scuff, I do not have a scuff. I play with a normal default controller that came with the PlayStation. I come from Xbox, and with the Xbox, pretty much every controller you bought felt the same, so I didn't really want to risk any kind of third brand or third party controllers with the PlayStation, so I just learned how to play claw from Xbox, transitioned to PlayStation, learned how to play claw on the PlayStation controller. It is very different. It felt very weird at first, but I've since grown used to it. So I'm just saying that you don't need to spend $100 on a scuff if you really don't want to. You can learn how to play claw on the default PlayStation controller, and it'll take a few days, if not maybe a week or two, to get used to it, but that's really all that it's going to take. Your aim is going to be absolutely terrible at first, and it's going to feel very awkward. It might even hurt, but honestly, just persevere through it for like a week, and after that it'll be fine. Finally, I would say that the most important, or not even the most important, just another important optional accessory that you might want to get to improve your gaming ability kind of overnight is gunners. So these are gaming glasses essentially that have a yellow coating over the front of the lens, which protects your eyes from the heavy blue light that's emitted from your monitor. And this, I don't have one. I don't have a pair of gunners, but everybody says that they're very good. They prevent eye strain, and in long gaming sessions, you want your eyes to not be hurting because you need to look at the screen. So they help you with that, but they're not absolutely necessary. And then the final things you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to, as weird as it sounds, you're gonna want to be drinking something. You're gonna be wanting to drink juice, water, or something that's gonna energize you and get you pumped to play, because if you're just playing with nothing in your system, you're gonna have really slow reaction time. Your gun aiming is gonna be way off, and you're not gonna be playing at your highest level. So juice, water, soda, whatever, you need to be drinking something. And also the temperature of your room matters, as weird as that sounds. Personally, for me, I cannot play in cold environments. Your hands are cold, it really stiffs up the muscles in your hands, and your aiming is absolutely garbage when your hands are cold. So try to warm up your hands before you game. Either run them through like hot water for a few seconds, or blow on your hands and rub them against your legs to warm them up, or whatever you can. Some people like playing in cold environments. Personally, I don't. But if you do, then put on the air conditioner. And some people like playing in hot environments. So whatever works for you better for your personal situation, you're gonna want to find that and then try to do that every single time you play, so that you can consistently do well. Oh, and one other little thing that's not super important is just the way you sit and your posture during gaming. If you sit far back in your chair and you kind of lean back while you game, it's not gonna work. You need to be sitting kind of upright, and you need to have a good posture. And sometimes I find that it even helps to sit at the very edge of your chair. I don't know why it works, but when you're kind of kneeling forward or leaning forward, it kind of helps your reaction time. So there's that. Okay, now we're gonna get a little bit more specific to Call of Duty. So the first few tips that I just gave you guys, those are things you can apply really to any FPS. As far as I know, I don't know really, because I only play Call of Duty. I'm not really a gamer, but I would assume any first-person shooter that uses these same mechanics, it's pretty much the same thing. So now we're gonna get more into detail about Call of Duty just specifically. So first and foremost, to get better at the game, you're gonna just want to be familiar at the game. And I think I said this in another video, but gun skill, that's kind of secondary. If you don't know the map, if you don't know all of the spots, if you don't know the spawn points, the gun skill really doesn't even matter, because that's only a small fraction of your overall performance that you can potentially achieve in game, other than just general knowledge of the game. So you're gonna want to know the maps, you're gonna want to know the flank routes, certain positions that other people could be in, so that you can pre-aim certain spawn points. You're going to want to be able to know where you can position yourself in the map to kind of block a spawn, to influence a spawn maybe. Like, let's say you're in their base, and by being in their base and looking in a certain direction, you're going to prevent them from spawning there, so they're going to spawn in another area of the map. You kind of need to know how your movement in-game affects everything else, and generally how the map flows, because that's a huge component of dictating how you do in the map. If you're just running around and not pre-aiming anything, kind of just running aimlessly into a street, that's not a good idea. Okay, so I'm going to go more in depth about spawns. So, in most cases, in every single game that you play, the objective really to get a good KD is to make sure that all of the confrontations or gunfights that you get in are more in control by you than they are by the other person. So you want to be in an advantageous position to win a gunfight. You don't want to let the other person win the gunfight, is what I'm trying to say. So let's say, for example, that you're playing Combine. Okay, this is like a classic example, and this is something that I always do. And in fact, I recently posted a gameplay on Combine. I got a nuclear on it, and I always do this as well. Okay, on the left side of the map, where the little puddle is, or the river, or whatever you want to call it, you can push through if you're spawning on the, I think it's A side on Domination. You push through to the left side of the map on that river area. You pre-aim that doorway, okay? You're not going to want to, after you kill anybody that's there, you're not going to want to push through into their spawn, because if you push through to their spawn, you're going to influence the spawn and they're going to be on the other side of the map before you even can get into another gunfight. And by doing that, you're not only going to confuse your teammates because they're going to be like, where is everybody, but you're not going to be in a good position to win any more gunfights, because now you have to go to the other side of the map to get in a gunfight, pretty much. So in that instance, what you would want to do instead is either push back and wait again for somebody to push through that corridor, or kind of push toward the front of their building and pre-aim whatever you want to pre-aim right there, but do not push the spawn. Okay, so that's a main point in map knowledge and map awareness and spawn influence. Do not push the spawn ever, unless you want to flip the spawn, unless you want to get to this or unless you want your team to spawn on the certain side of the map. You never really want to push the spawn. You always want to be able to pre-aim their side of the map, where they're going to be coming from, and just let them kind of run to you. Obviously, gunfights get a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the general theory of it. You want to be on the upper hand, and you want to have an advantage over them when they're running toward you. So that's one general thing that I will tell you guys. Control the spawns by not pushing the spawns and staying on your side of the map. If you see that your teammates are spawning middle map instead of by the original spawn in the beginning of the game, then you know that the spawns are kind of being influenced by the other team. They're probably in your spawn, and you should start pre-aiming those areas as well. Okay, so the next thing regarding map knowledge, I would say, is that you need to know pretty much all of the common areas that the other person or the other team is going to be stationed at or pushing. Let's do Combine again for another example. If you're pushing the riverside, or the pool side, or whatever you want to call it, where that puddle is, you're gonna want to watch that stone head glitch that's by the, I don't know what that thing is, like that vent or that generator or whatever it is on the other side, because the other person is obviously going to be sitting on that rock pre-aiming you to push them, and they obviously have the upper advantage right there. So when you push that side, always be aware that there might be a person there and anticipate that person being there, pre-aim, or perhaps even better, jump shot to get the upper advantage on them. And just generally, over time, you should understand where the certain common spots are, and you should overall have a really good map knowledge and awareness to the point where you can predict spawns and you can predict where a person might be, and as well as predicting, you know, if somebody has flanked. You kind of feel that in a way because of the way that that your team is spawning or that the other team is spawning. You might feel that there's somebody in your spawn, and 9 times out of 10 you should be correct because of the way the spawn works. So that's pretty much it for the map knowledge and the spawn knowledge. You should just be familiarized with how everything works and the flow of the map as well. Some maps have better flow than others, and if you understand all of this knowledge, then you'll see why. For example, Raid and Slums and Standoff and Black Ops 2 were considered, you know, such great maps because of the flow. They were really balanced, and the map design was very balanced, and everything flowed very, very well. If you push to one side of the map, you can easily understand the spawn on the other side of the map. In Black Ops 3, some of the better maps, I would say, are maybe Infection, or Evac. I really don't have a favorite map in this game, but you know, a lot of the competitive maps are chosen for competitive just because they're balanced, and the flow is really nice. One map that I think has absolutely terrible flow is not Metro. Metro. I was thinking Express from Black Ops 2. No, Metro. It absolutely has a terrible flow. You don't really know where the other people are going to spawn. The map just has a really weird design. It encourages a lot of head glitching. You can't really control the spawns or influence the spawns too much, and it's just very bad. So a good map has a good flow on it, and you can understand the spawns and everything like that. One little thing that I will add to the very end of this general tip: if your teammates are pushing forward and you see that your teammates are pushing forward, obviously they are going to influence the spawn of the other team, and although you can't control that, what you can do is you can just, turn around and start pre-aiming toward the other side, because obviously the other team is going to spawn where your teammates aren't. So if your teammates are pushing toward the other team's spawn, you're going to want to turn around because the spawns are going to flip, right? So that's one general thing that I'll add onto that. Alright, now moving on to something even more in depth, and honestly I'm kind of just coming up with these things as I go, kind of saving the most like specific stuff and the most explicitly I guess helpful stuff toward the end, because I'm trying to make this as general to as specific as possible. But the next thing that I can think of is movement. So movement is extremely important in games like Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare. The movement system introduces a skill gap into the game, and pretty much the people with better movement are going to be just better players in general versus the people who don't have better movement. And this is where having a scuff or playing claw really comes into play, because if you can't jump while aiming, that's an extremely huge disadvantage. So you need to have one of those two things. Pretty much movement is how you traverse from point A to point B on the map. And certain players just have a better movement style than other players. So Afterburner in Black Ops 3 definitely really helps with this whole discussion, because if you're able to jump to one tree and then bounce off of the tree and then slide on the ledge and, rush an enemy spawn, the faster you can do that, the better. But basically movement is just how well you can master the movement mechanics of the game, how well you can influence a jump shot, how well you can ledge slide, off of a ledge, things like that. It's very general, but as soon as you understand how to master the movement better, you're going to understand that it's a very useful thing to do in this game, and it can save you sometimes by jump shotting, for example, winning gunfights like that. But yeah, movement absolutely essential to master. You need to be able to do that flawlessly if you want to be a good player. One thing that I can suggest to practice your movement is to try to do wall runs on redwood, on the trees, to the walls, back to the trees, onto a ledge slide, or whatever, stuff like that. So movement, absolutely essential. One of the things that you're going to need to master to be a top level player in this game. Alright, so now getting even more specific, let's talk about game modes. So I think that certain game modes are better for getting good KDs than other game modes. And the number one game mode to get a good KD is TDM. Team Deathmatch is easy. Really bad people play it most of the time. The spawns are not too weirdly influenced, although the spawns are worse than in other game modes, but that's not too terrible. And score streaks are pretty much non-existent in this game mode, so you're not going to be going against a person that has wraps every few seconds, because to get wraps in TDM you need to get 13 kills straight, so that's a really hard thing to do for most people, so you're not going to be going against that. So play TDM. It's kind of boring, and over time it can get very mundane, but getting a good KD and good stats, is it worth it to you that much? If so, play TDM. But I suggest running UAV, counter UAV, and Hater. Those are pretty much the staples that I use to get nuclears, because I don't want to run lethal score streaks, because those count against nuclears. But if you do want to run lethals, Wraith and Wraps are very good. A lot of people run UAV, Wraith, and Wraps, and it's pretty much a done deal once you get Wraith, because then you can get a Wraps and 2 kills, and it's very simple. So the main goal in TDM is just to get a lot of kills, few deaths, don't have to worry about score streaks too much on the other team, and it's a very simple game mode. So if you can play domination with a team of at least 3 people. I do not play domination at all in this game, because I usually play solo, but even still, it's so easy to get score streaks in that game mode, so it's not, uncommon to just hop into a game and you're being barraged with like Raps and a Wraith and a Mothership or whatever. So I personally don't like domination. One game mode that I do like where you can get a high score per minute is Kill Confirmed, and Kill Confirmed is almost like TDM, but you can get score streaks way faster than TDM, and it's really fun. So I suggest TDM, free for all, Safeguard possibly. You can just camp the robot, and Kill Confirmed for good KD. For good score per minute, obviously Domination, Hardpoint, pretty much it. TDM I think is a good balance of KD and SPM, so that's the one I mainly play. But if you get bored with it, hop into a 4-man party or 5-man party and play Domination. It's very, very simple. Get a good win-loss that way. You can also get a good win-loss by playing free-for-all a lot, so that's also a good tip right there. Okay, now I'm going to go into class setup. I think, the perks that you use and the guns that you use and the attachments are all very, very important. And let's just be real, there are some guns that are better than others in this game, and if you want to, get a good KD in this game, obviously you're going to have to use a good gun. So the top 3 guns in this game, I would say, or the top 2 at least, definitely are the M8, A7, and the VMP. The M8 is the best assault rifle. The VMP is by far the best SMG. The COD shoots too slow and it has a really inconsistent detection. Sometimes you melt with it, sometimes you have to shoot the other person like 5 times close range and it's very strange. And sometimes you get 2-shotted close range by the other person. I hate that gun. But the COD is just not that great. Slow fire rate, kind of subpar. The Vesper, used to be the best gun in the game, but the range is too bad, and the recoil is not even manageable. The Weevil, it's a good pub stomping gun, but competitively, it's not a good gun because, objectively, the VMP kills faster. The Pharaoh, if with rapid fire, is actually very good, and I suggest using it with rapid fire and quick draw. The Pharaoh is actually, the strongest gun in the game at close range, so take that for what it is. And then finally the Razorback, absolutely terrible gun, but it's very accurate. So the VMP is kind of like the best of both worlds, or the best of all worlds, with submachine guns. It has good fire rate, good time to kill, fast reloading kind of, and its magazine size is pretty good. So the VMP, absolutely the #1 best SMG, possibly the best gun in the game for some people. And then the M8, definitely the best assault rifle out of all of the assault rifles, which are trash in this game. I swear the assault rifles are really, really bad in Black Ops 3. None of them are good, really, except the M8. The Man of War is a close second to the M8, but the Man of War has really bad recoil as well. And I'm not even going to mention the other ones because they're all bad. So the M8, we want to have a red dot on it, definitely, and we want to have stock. Those are the 2 main staple attachments for your assault rifles that you're going to want to run in really any Call of Duty game. The reason why you want to run a red dot is because the increase in the visibility is going to help you win gunfights at long ranges, and stock helps you win gunfights by strafing. I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but strafing is absolutely important, especially with an assault rifle, so you can dodge bullets from far away. Third, we can put maybe fast mags or high caliber. Since high caliber is in this game, why not abuse it? Long barrel is very good on assault rifles as well. But really, the only 2 attachments you absolutely need are red dot and a stock. On the VMP, you definitely need 1 attachment, always, and that's going to be grip. Grip is absolutely essential for this gun because the recoil on it is very, very terrible. If you don't run a grip on it, you should be close range, and even at close range, it's very hard to control, so grip, absolutely essential. The second one, I would say, is quick draw. Third, stock. Stock is very good on all SMGs. It helps you win a lot of gunfights. And then maybe long barrel if you're really paranoid about those long range shots. If you want to make sure that you're going to kill in 5 bullets instead of 6 bullets, in certain cases like with the COD and the Weevil, then you can run long barrel. But really, grip is the only necessary or essential item on the VMP. And now we're going to go into perks. So the main perks in this game that are going to be game changing and affect the actual gameplay are Afterburner, Overclock, Those are in perk 1. Perk 2, I would say Fast Hands and Scavenger for pub stomping, and Hardwired. Those are from perk 2. And then perk 3, really all the perk 3s are pretty good in this game. Dead Silence and Awareness, 2 amazing combos that you can run in this game for pub stomping. They're going to be, essential for sound whoring, and sound whoring, as we explained already, is an extremely valuable tool to have when you're playing Call of Duty, because it lets you know where people are, basically. So there's other perk 3s like Blaster Presser. Blaster Presser is very good. And I guess that's really it. I don't know why I said there's a lot of good perk 3s in this game, but Blaster Presser is really the only one that I would suggest you run if you're not running Dead Silence or Awareness. I wouldn't suggest running Awareness without Dead Silence, because your own footsteps are very, very distracting, and they almost drown out the sound of other footsteps. So I wouldn't run Dead Silence, or rather I wouldn't run Awareness without Dead Silence. So let's go into some possible perk combinations. For a rushing class, I would definitely suggest at least Afterburner plus Fast Hands. Afterburner lets you rush like crazy because your boost meter reloads so fast, and Fast Hands helps you to switch weapons, and also to have your gun up faster after sprinting, and it's essentially like Dexterity or Ready Up from past Call of Duty, so that's very, very useful to win gunfights. And if you're not running Fast Hands, I would definitely recommend always trying to pre-aim, because that's going to be your biggest weakness if you don't have Fast Hands on, is running into somebody while sprinting. You're mostly always going to die from in a gunfight like that, because you're not ready to pre-aim. There's also Flak Jacket, which I forgot to mention. Flak Jacket, honestly, it's pretty good, but it's not necessary in this game, because C4, it's not that great in this game. If this was Black Ops 2, I would definitely recommend Flak Jacket, always actually, instead of Lightweight. I always ran a Flak Jacket in Black Ops 2. But since in this game, C4s aren't really that great. Grenades, who uses grenades? Semtex are okay, but really they're not that great. The blast radius isn't as high as even a frag is, so I wouldn't recommend running Flak Jacket. But if you wanted to run Flak Jacket, I would suggest, I would suggest not, but if you had to, then go right ahead. But Afterburner and Overclock, I think, are way better perks in this game. Oh, and then Overclock is really, really good. Overclock is probably one of the best perks in the game, simply because it allows you to get your specialist ability faster. And spoiler alert, Kinetic Armor is a definite always run specialist for getting a good KD in this game. Absolutely essential. So now we're going to go into the specialists. Best specialist in the game is definitely Kinetic Armor. Kinetic Armor, it makes you invincible pretty much, and it lets you win a gunfight for free. So Kinetic Armor is absolutely one of the, it's the best specialist, and it's the one that you're always going to want to run if you're trying to get a good KD. If you're trying to get a good KD, I don't recommend you run weapons, because weapons, first of all, take a long time to get, and you only get them like twice a game if you're playing team deathmatch anyway, and you're gonna want to rely on your main primary gun for most of your kills, not some random Tempest or Scythe that comes along. You're not gonna want to change up your playstyle, is what I'm trying to say. So you want to go with an ability most of the time. Kinetic Armor is obviously the best one, but sometimes you want to mix it up a little bit. So Heatwave's always very, very good. It lets you also get a free kill a lot of the time. And Active Camo is also very good for dodging bullets. I think the other person, when they're aiming at you with Active Camo enabled, they'd lose auto aim, so it's even harder to kill you. And that's pretty much it. Those are the top 3 abilities, I would say. There's Overdrive, which is pretty good if you want to like rush. There's Rejack, Vision Pulse, and Combat Focus, which are not really that great at all. So I would recommend Kinetic Armor always, 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 if you're trying to go for a good KD. Alright, and so I guess that brings us to our very last topic, which is gun skill. And that's really the most important thing in this game. To be able to win gunfights, it's going to be the deciding factor in whether you have a good KD or not. So pretty much how to get good gun skill. This is a very general topic and it's one that requires a lot of explanation, but seeing that this is almost 20 or plus 20 minutes already commentary, I'm going to try to cut it short and condense it as much as possible while keeping as much specificity as I can. So the main thing about gun skill is accuracy, or gun control, like recoil control, recoil management. So if you're using the Man of War, for example, Man of War at long range is really bad because it kicks up a lot. If you're using the Man of War or any assault rifle, any fully automatic gun at long range, here's a tip. Don't fire it fully automatically, fire it in short bursts. Or if you're using the Man of War, as I said in my Man of War video, you can only tap the trigger 3 times, and it only takes 3 bullets to kill with the Man of War at most ranges. So you can use it like a FAL from Black Ops 2 essentially. So just tap the trigger 3 times, and the person's gonna be dead, and you're not gonna have to deal with the recoil. That's a tip for really any automatic gun at long range. Also, you're going to want to do centering. As I said in my centering video, centering is one of the most important aspects to gun skill. You're going to want to align your crosshairs to where you think the other person's going to be at all times, because if you do that and the other person shows up, where you anticipated them to be, then you can just start shooting your gun. Those first few bullets are going to hit, and then you can aim in to finish the kill. And what this is going to do is it's going to overall just decrease the time to kill and get you a faster kill time. So centering and gun control are the 2 main aspects to gun skill. One very good indicator of your gun skill in this game is your gun accuracy, in fact, and that's obviously not surprising. Gun accuracy is going to let you know how accurate you are with your gun, and it's going to let you know how much you miss or how much you don't miss, essentially all of that stuff. So just to give you guys some perspective, if you guys are familiar with competitive Call of Duty, one of the best players, who's Scumpy, he actually has a 30% accuracy on his VMP. I'm pretty sure. I was watching a pro player stream one day, and they went on Scumpy's statistics, like on his gun stats, and for his most used gun, which is the VMP, he has like a 30% accuracy with it, and that's why he's really good with that gun. So the higher accuracy you have with your gun, that's usually a really good indicator of how good your gun skill is with that gun. Here's a general kind of just overview of all of the certain guns and their good quote-unquote accuracies and their really good accuracies. So for the VMP, I would say anything from 24 plus is a very good accuracy. Maybe 26 plus is extremely good. For the M8, I would say at least 30% accuracy or 29% accuracy is very good in that gun. In Black Ops 2, the VMP, the M8, for most pros, I think that the accuracy was around 24. I'm not too sure, to be honest, because I know in Black Ops 2 that the gun accuracy was a lot different than it is in Black Ops 3. For example, a really good gun accuracy for the MSMC in Black Ops 2 was like around 20%, but 20% of VMP accuracy would be like really bad in Black Ops 3. So for the M8A1 in Black Ops 2, I think the really good gun accuracy kind of threshold was like 24% or above to like 28%. In Black Ops 2, I've seen people with like 34% gun accuracy on the M8, 33, 32. Personally, I have 31, which is kind of average, I would say, but there are other factors to gun skill that, help me get a good KD. So if you have a really good accuracy with a lot of your guns, then that's a good indicator that you're not missing, that your majority of your shots are on target, and that you're pretty much a good player regarding gun skill. So if you have that down, that's a long way to go. That's a long step ahead, and you only have a very, certain amount left to go to become a really good player. So try to keep your gun accuracy as high as possible. So for some other guns, I would say, like, let's say the Man of War, I would say a really good gun accuracy for that one is like 27, 28. For the COD, maybe like 27 or 28 as well. For the I don't know what other guns are there. What other guns do people use? I don't know. All the guns in this game are really bad. For the Shiva, 34% or above. That's really good. That's what I have actually, but I think that's a really good indicator. That's pretty much it. But the higher gun accuracy you have, just the generally the better player you are, and the more gun skill you have. So take that for what you can, and just try to keep your gun accuracy and your gun skill up to par. Sorry I went on that little rant about gun accuracy, but one thing that you're going to want to always do when you're dealing with a high recoil gun is you're going to want to, as I said, use it in bursts. But if you can't use it in bursts, then just aim lower than normal on the character in game. Like, so if, for example, if you're aiming at their chest, but with the Vesper, for example, maybe aim lower than the chest for the thigh, so that you can so that the gun accuracy goes up, and then most of your shots are actually on target instead of being off target, and that should help you a lot. Also, push down on your right thumbstick while you're aiming or while you're shooting, and that should definitely help you as well. Alright, and that's pretty much it. The last thing that I will definitely say helps you win more gunfights or helps you become better at this game is just practice. You're gonna want to practice and play this game a lot. The more you do something, the just kind of generally better you get at it. And if you play this game often, you're gonna get better at it. When I first started playing Call of Duty, I was absolutely terrible, but I played it a lot, and over time you just get better. And you can apply these tips really to any Call of Duty game or any FPS in general. And so, if you master all of these things during Black Ops 3, you can apply them to Infinite Warfare or whatever other game you want to play in the future, because they all kind of revolve around the same mechanics, and they all play the same sort of way at the core. So that's pretty much it, guys. I know this is a very long video, but I wanted to be as helpful as possible to share as much knowledge as I could regarding this topic. There's a lot more stuff that I could go into detail about, but I just don't have the means to do that. I don't have like a PVR or a recorder that I can show you guys, so I have to pre-record all of my gameplay to edit into my commentaries. So I just don't have the means to go as in-depth to it as I would like to, but this is just a general kind of overview on how to become better and how to get a good KD in the game, because that's what really we all want to do, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you did, like the video if you did, comment down below letting me know, do you want me to do any more in-depth specific videos regarding these topics, or was this kind of very long video a general help to you guys? So thank you guys for watching the video.